I wrote 3 brand new songs just for this project. I've been trying to put this whole idea together for quite a while. I started out with Daniel Blake, the saxophonist in the video. I was making loops with like keys and bass, and then I thought it'd probably be cool to add Dingman into the project just to balance it out and make it more interesting, especially while I'm like trying to build these loops and stuff to have something kind of percussive going on. So Bryan and the Aardvarks, we started, and actually it's coming, our 12-year anniversary is coming up at the end of May 26th.
Congrats.
It was our first gig, 2009. And I had started out with Joe Nero on drums and Fabian Amazon on piano, and then we were doing that for a while, just playing at Joe's place, and then Chris Dingman moved to New York from California, and somehow Fabian knew him. And Fabian was like, man, we should play a session with this guy, he's really great. And so we did a session at Joe's apartment, and I was just blown away. You know, I was actually kind of freaked out by how awesome Chris was. And I remember we got a gig, and I asked Fabian, I was like, hey, do you think that guy Chris would want to do this gig? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so we asked him, and he was into it. So that was 2009. We've been doing that ever since. We recorded 2 albums, Heroes of Make Believe, and then Sounds from the Deep Field, which was our last release on Biophilia Records. And, you know, we have tons of music in the work. I'd love to do another album. This pandemic has kind of put a damper on that. I've kind of morphed into the Varks, which is like this kind of umbrella of, I kind of think of Bryan and the Aardvarks as a family. It's kind of a prerequisite that everyone that plays in the group is cool. Like, I like them on a personal level as well as being amazing musicians. So I feel like it's like a family, you know, and so it's kind of like the Vark family. And it's just people that have played in the group in some capacity or played, you know, that I feel is part of the family. So it kind of takes on this big collective. I mean, lately I've just been obsessed with Jack DeJohnette. This is kind of like mid to late 60s era. There's a Jackie McLean album. It's called Jackknife. I've just been listening to it nonstop. But I mean, tons of stuff. I mean, definitely Fabian's label has inspired me a lot. These artists are just amazing. I think he's got one of the most remarkable collections of recording artists in the world today. So, you know, all this music that comes out of Biophilia inspires.
Yeah, it's like a nice, diverse collection.
Yeah, it's really great stuff. I mean, at this point, if I could have dinner with anyone alive, that would be great. Like, I miss that. I miss having dinner with people. That was one of the few things I actually like to do. I'm kind of an agoraphobe. I don't like going out in public much, but dinner's my favorite. So, you know, probably it would be like the Varks, you know, like Fabian and Joe and Dingman at this point.
Okay, seriously though.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to say Wayne Shorter and Kurt Vonnegut and John Coltrane. I feel like the art they created it speaks to me on a very personal level. So I think maybe it would be something that I feel like we have something in common just because the music speaks to me so much, or the book, you know. I don't know, because it's all I ever want to do, I guess. I mean, I just kind of wake up and want to make music, and all day want to make music, and when I'm not making music, I'm sad and go to sleep wanting to make music, and then I can't go to sleep because I'm thinking about music. So I guess I'm obsessed, I guess. I don't know. You know, pretty dark stuff, I guess. You know, I was feeling pretty dark with the pandemic and all the political stuff leading up to that election, and it's a pretty dark time. So I think I I was just trying to immerse myself into making music and I was building electronics, and I started building microphones and preamps and amplifiers and direct boxes, and learning all kinds of new software, recording. I was learning how to mix and master, just anything I could think of that was creative or that I enjoyed doing to just kind of keep my mind off of what's been going on in the world lately. So I think I took on too much stuff. It's hard to complete it. I have so many things going on, I can't even finish anything. I have like 1,000 things that are up in the air right now. You know what I've been spending my whole pandemic doing? Learning how to build things. It started out with this. This was, well, not this specifically, but I built a ribbon mic. It's a clone of an RCA 44BX ribbon mic. That was the first thing I built. It really is pretty simple. It's only a transformer, an XLR jack, and then this 2 magnets and a piece of aluminum suspended between them. That's all there is to it. Like, anybody could build it. I'm building this right now. This is an RCA OP6 preamp clone, but it's all recycled material. I mean, this was like an old toolbox I had, and like these are all like from old amplifiers. So that's an old VU meter, and and even like inside, it's like old tubes, and these are old transformers from like an old Collins radio, and this is like an old box that I had laying around, and pretty much everything in here is like repurposed. This used to be an old menu,
recipe box.
You put recipes in there, and I kind of have like a separate little power unit here for it.
And what's this guy that I just see a lot? It looks pretty simple.
I mean, this is a clone of, this has always been my favorite piece of gear of all times, is the Ampeg B15 tube amp. Well, probably, oddly enough, I was going to this horrible college in San Antonio called San Antonio Community College that people jokingly referred to as San Pedro High because it was on a road called San Pedro. And it was the worst school ever, and for a bizarre set of reasons, they had Satoshi Akamoto teaching bass there, and he's currently the principal bass player in the New York Philharmonic. So I got to study with probably like the greatest technical bass player on planet Earth at this horrible college, and that really inspired me to study bass and to get serious about it. That would be one. And then another, I guess if I had to pick one more major one, I think it would probably be starting Bryan and the Aardvarks. I mean, that was a life changer. I moved to New York and was kind of wondering what I was going to do here. So much going on, so many musicians, it's hard to find your way. And, I kind of stumbled into that, and it just made everything so clear. It is like I had this musical purpose. That's been kind of my whole purpose in music for 12 years now. 10 years in the past? Probably just to not worry so much about the whole like rat race of the music world and like trying to compete and like, I got to get this gig and beat myself up about not accomplishing certain goals or whatever, and just to be more in the moment and appreciative of what I have, and just kind of let everything else take care of itself, I think. My favorite cartoon growing up was the Pink Panther cartoon, and that was made up of 3 segments of shorter cartoons. It was always like the Pink Panther, and then there was like the Inspector, and then there was the Tijuana Toads, and one of there was Mr. Jaw, and then one of my favorite was always the Ant and the Aardvark, and that was kind of the inspiration behind Bryan and the Aardvarks. Okay, yeah, I have the Biophilia right here. Process designing it was kind of crazy because this was one of the first ones. Yeah, this was the second one, I think, ever. So there wasn't much of a blueprint for doing this. Okay. It was a real challenge designing it, you know, because you're used to it seems like a small thing, but like if you're like doing squares, you're used to like designing within that square. But this is, you're designing in this like diamond shape, and that just like really creates a lot of conundrums design-wise. However, I don't know, like there's not really a set thing, how it comes together. I just kind of sit down and I just kind of zone out and I try to go to this place somewhere in my mind, and I probably just kind of, usually it starts at a piano or a keyboard, and I just kind of fish around and find something I like, and then I'll be like, oh, I like that, and then it just kind of grows from that. It's like super organic. It's not like I'm going to sit down and do this process. It's always just something that just kind of starts as something that was like always there in the back of my mind somewhere, and then it comes out, and then it just grows on its own. It kind of has a life of its own, I think. I've never really thought of it as a job. It's always just been just kind of a part of me, I think. It's something I'm really in love with and passionate about, and I'm just obsessed with it. And that's all I want to do. It's probably why I'm not very financially successful at it, because I don't ever like think of it as a business or a job. It's always just like I want to make something creative, and you know, I have like all this stuff just kind of floating around, and I want to like get it out. You know, it's like, oh, I want to like express this emotion or feeling or whatever's in my mind. So that's how I've always approached it. I've never really tried to get too like worried about the business side of it, really. I just try to focus more on like the art form itself, you know, trying to be true to music. I think music's probably the best, to me, it's the best thing I can think of that humans have ever done. So I think there's a lot of respect there. I just have a lot of respect for it and a lot of appreciation for it. All right, be safe, be healthy, get vaccinated, make music, and be nice to each other.